right, so here's the first episode of Smack Talk. Actually, that's not the name we're going with, is it? It's Gregarious Guys. Well, it's a pilot episode, so... So, we had just gotten back into playing online in Modern Warfare and even some Cold War. So, I am here with my friend Joe. Joe, introduce yourself.
What's up? I'm Joe.
Just realized I even introduced you. Anyway, so me and Joe have been friends for, 13, 14 years now. We've surprisingly developed our favorites in video games and music right alongside each other. It's probably why he puts up with me. But or vice versa, you know. But yeah, I mean, it started back with Halo 2, and then we went on in Halo 3, definitely Halo Reach. Definitely Halo Reach. We played that. We overplayed that, even when 4 came out.
Our thing growing up, our era was Modern Warfare 2 and Halo Reach. That era, 2009 to 2011.
Yeah, I honestly will say that I would never have found Call of Duty if it wasn't for you, though. I remember we were playing again. We were playing like the heck out of some Halo Reach, probably to the point where a normal person would be sick of it.
Yeah.
And then on your birthday, the next day, I think I was the only one who stayed over. Your dad was like, "Hey, here's a new video game." Mm-hmm. You know, in that small tiny house you had. Your dad was hunched over and everything.
Yeah.
You know, I was a 4'5" until I was 16, so I didn't really notice. And they were like, "All right, cool." And then we popped it in the tray. I sound so old right now, but we.
Yeah, we were around when discs were a thing.
Yeah, so if there's any younger generations that listen to this, so yeah. The tray was actually one that came out of the console. And, you know, it's kind of like a butler's give me your clothes, or something like that, you know, and it just was all right, well, here's the game. You know, no downloads necessary, and there was no DLC for the most part. I mean, there were expansion packs,
DLC
kind of.
was just coming out. It was map packs.
Yeah, there were map packs, yeah. But I mean, you know, when you're broke teenagers in the mid to early 2010s, you know, you don't exactly pay for map packs because you're content with what you got. So, or even playing the pit over and over and over and over again, just trying to beat each other's records.
Yeah.
It was so different than Halo for me because I never aimed down sights before. Mm-hmm. So I was so pissed that you literally would be screaming through it just perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But, you know, you had plenty of time to acclimate to it. Whereas me, fresh off the boat, it's a bit of a pun for the first Modern Warfare that came out. Yeah. You know, I was the soap of the group, so he's showing me up. And I was kind of mad. I was a little bit mad that, you know, you were doing it so seamlessly. Give Ghost a run for his money, but goodness. And then now we've got the remastered out, you know, and there's actually an achievement. I don't know if you knew this, but you know, you can see Shepard from the pit.
Sniping him.
And you snipe him, you get an achievement.
Time traveler or something like that.
No. It's something like paranoia premonitions or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Or something like that.
Time traveler's in the first remaster. If you shoot, if you snipe Makarov in the car.
Oh.
At the meeting with Zakhaev, instead of shooting Zakhaev, if you shoot Makarov in the car, because Makarov wasn't originally in that car. But in Modern Warfare Remastered, they sort of
put him in there
as an Easter egg to 3, and you can actually shoot him instead. The time travel achievement. Yeah.
Huh. Okay. I didn't know that. Now I have a reason to replay Modern Warfare 1.
Yeah.
Probably one of the, you know, I'm still waiting for them to come out with Modern Warfare 2 remastered multiplayer. Because, man, that was what was up. Even if it's just for the level up, you know, the nice guitar riff, you know, or even just playing Juggernaut or whatever. One of the chambers was actually kind of fun, if I remember correctly. Or maybe it's that Black Ops 2.
One in the chamber.
When did that start? No, it was Modern Warfare 2.
One in the chamber started in Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops 1, whichever came first.
It was Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, it came out.
I remember Black Ops 1, they started doing weird matches and you could wager Call of Duty points or something like that. So they were called wager matches, and that's when they came out with Sticks and Stones, which was like
Isn't that
crossbones. Well, it wasn't like back then. COD points weren't tied to real money. It was like an in-game currency thing.
Gotcha. So before cryptocurrency was actually a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I never really played much of Black Ops 1. I don't even really remember the campaign. I played through the campaign once. And I was like, gosh, was it 2013? I mean, but 2 was just so good. And the campaign of 2 was great.
The one I got into. I didn't play 1 a lot, but I remember, I think back then COD points were actually XP points. And you could wager XP on a match of like Sticks and Stones with crossbows and tomahawks. And if you won whatever you bet, it was like, you know, it's like normal betting. You know, you place a certain amount, and if you win, you stand to gain. Like, you're wagering against other players. So whatever they bet goes in your pot, too, if you win. But
you know, I have never heard of this before. And how many games have we played against each other?
Yeah, but I've never seen that in a game before or after the first Black Ops.
Probably for a reason.
Yeah, I guess it just wasn't.
Honestly. But yeah, Black Ops 2 is really the one that I remember most of getting really into. But, I mean, that was 2012. I believe it was Thanksgiving that year. Because my brother, he had gotten, like, the red box disc. Yeah, that's how old we are. He got the red box disc. And he rented it for, like, Thanksgiving. And we played that whole weekend. I played the campaign and multiplayer and the zombies especially. We would love split-screen zombies.
That was, to this day, one of the best zombies. With Transit,
the best.
With Transit and the maps that they broke off.
Yeah, what was it? Grief and stuff like that, yeah. And then, what about, like, even Mob of the Dead?
Yeah.
Like, forget about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I wish I were more into that at that time. You had it.
Did you play Buried?
No.
That was one of the last maps they came out with for Black Ops 2 Zombies.
Honestly,
it was good.
I wasn't into zombies until Advanced Warfare came out. That's only because Ghost
that one too.
Didn't really have a zombies mode.
Yeah, they had aliens.
Yeah, it was like a mix between like zombies and like survival, you know, because like Modern Warfare 3 had a phenomenal survival mode.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
We won't get that till maybe, next year?
Modern Warfare 3 Remastered?
Came out in 2011.
Maybe, but I feel like maybe the dynamics changed since Warzone's on the scene.
Yeah.
They're putting a lot of support and resources into that, so I don't know. We'll have to see. I had heard somewhere that they thought that they've already remastered 1, 2, and 3, and they're just waiting to release them at certain times when they think it'll be most profitable. So,
I mean, in all honesty, when they saw how big 1 was of remastered, I would have automatically just started jumping up on top of it and be like, all right, we got 2 other games that we got to make look
should have just done
pristine.
a collection pack, I think.
I think they're biding their time.
1, 2, and 3 remastered. And
listen,
I know why they're doing it, because they can release them $60 a piece, a few years apart, just like they did.
No, they weren't $60 a piece though. They were like,
well, it was like 40. Wasn't it?
It was like, it's like 40 or 35 or something like that. That's how much 2 was. I think 1 was like if you had a special pre-order of Infinite Warfare.
That's right. That's right.
And you got that. I know because I bought it.
It was like $79 for Infinite Warfare with Modern Warfare Remastered. I did the same thing.
But that came with multiplayer for the remastered, though.
I did the same thing, and then I never played Infinite Warfare. So I basically paid $80 for Modern Warfare 1 Remastered.
Oh, by the way, Specialist mode on Infinite Warfare is superb. Like, it is a whole nother... It's a whole, like, tactician mode.
For the listeners, he gets so mad when I tell him the story. I loaded into Infinite Warfare. I played 1 campaign mission. I backed out of that. I played about 3 zombies. And to be fair, the zombies was actually pretty solid. But I didn't really get that hardcore into it. And then I tried multiplayer. I got in 1 match. Some robot dog thing ran through me and disintegrated me after a 10 death streak. And I deleted the game.
Oh, worth it. Just phased out of existence.
Yeah.
You know, that dog is still waiting for you in the game.
I shot that thing the entire time it was running at me, and it still killed me. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. I'm done.
Yeah, well, we can't all survive that long, I guess. But anyway, so more so, Black Ops Cold War just came out, like within a week. All right, I've had plenty of time to kind of, peruse around a little bit of it, and play a little bit, just kind of get first impressions. Now, so I have absolutely terrible Wi-Fi, so I didn't really get to play online that much. I played a little bit at Joe's house. Joe has got like blazing Wi-Fi. I mean, like it's like rocket speed kind of Wi-Fi.
Well, for Alabama, it is.
Well, yeah, in a rural area where you are too. Yeah. But yeah, I mean the it wasn't bad. I'm just so far behind the curve, which is always the case. Because I actually have a life, Yeah. I go to a job, I got appointments.
Dude, there's people that prestige on day one, and I'm like, how?
Oh gosh,
how?
It'd be great to have my dad pay for Xbox and all that stuff. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But like I said, but and before it was because I didn't know if. Usually with my luck, I'd be sent out in the middle of a field for 2 weeks, in the middle of a release. And then I get back, and then it's 2 weeks later, and then everyone else is prestige already. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And I'm starting with the base weapons. In this case, it'd be the MP5. And I'm like, oh. But the campaign. Now, look, no spoilers. But the campaign was top notch. I mean, it felt like a Black Ops game. And the reason I say that is because 3 was way too out of it. It had aspects of a Black Ops game with the whole mind trick thing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really a mind trick thing because it was just, corrupt, what was it? Not data, but memories and it wasn't really mind control for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of was. The ending for 3 was actually interesting. I had to play the game 3 times to get it though.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to follow. But
I'll say it this way. I was intrigued by what was happening, but I really didn't understand it, and therefore I was less intrigued the more the game went on. Even though I actually enjoyed some of the missions, and I enjoyed the visuals. They got the guy from Law and Order SVU. But
yeah,
it wasn't quite enough to save it, especially since it wasn't tied heavily enough to the first 2. Or if it was, I couldn't tell how
there was one mention of Menendez,
mm-hmm.
and it had to do with AI control or whatever. It's there was a law or something after the attacks Menendez in 2025. That is literally it. There was one line in the entire game that tied it together. It's just a brief mention. But before that, even in the beginning of the game, it goes on this whole narrative of, hey, it's was it 2060 something? It's 2068.
2060s or 70s, I think.
I want to say it was 2068, and the reason I kind of remember it was in the 60s is because, and it could have started at 2062 before you got all the cybernetic enhancements and stuff. Mm-hmm. I think it was 2062 because Advanced Warfare takes place in 2065 in Korea, the first mission,
mm-hmm.
and then it's 2068, 2069, after the 4 years after they the attacks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Was the guy's name Joseph Chiketse?
Yeah,
don't know why I remember that, but I mean Hades. Could have just said that.
Yeah.
But I mean, now for those of you who don't really know me, Advanced Warfare is probably by far one of my all-time favorite Call of Duties for 2 reasons. One, the guy was a Marine. All right, I hold a special place in my heart for any Marine Corps, mentions or bravado or anything of that nature. And then, as sad as it is, and this fictitious world in the future, there was a ceremony, not a ceremony, it was a funeral. Where they were wearing their blues, and they actually did a really, really decent job of putting their medals and stuff in the right place. I mean, it was top-notch stuff, and it actually looked really cool. And so anything with Marine Corps, I'm automatically all for it. That's why Modern Warfare 1 is so cool, because one of my favorite missions, Charlie Don't Surf.
Advanced Warfare also gave birth to the meme, press F to pay respects.
That's not morbid. But anyway, so the second reason is also because it was the first Call of Duty to for you as the protagonist to be played as a single character. Mm-hmm. Every other one, it kind of like flops back and forth with different characters. This one, you're the same guy throughout, and it actually kind of grounds you. Not gonna lie, it'd be kind of cool to play as Gideon sometimes, and have some special gadget or something he does. Maybe just that really cool accent he's got. That's his superpower, by the way. But I mean, it was just new, and also, I mean, it had who was it? Troy Baker. It had Gideon Emery. He's in Teen Wolf and a couple other stuff. I really just say that he's from Advanced Warfare because that was the first thing I saw him in.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey might be a bit of a sore topic now.
Yeah,
but back then he was a phenomenal actor.
Everybody liked him. He was a great actor, and he was a great villain in the game. And
he just brought a whole nother the only better person they could have gotten was James Spader.
Yeah, he's in the same that same echelon.
Yeah,
I would say.
But I mean Kevin Spacey played the exact character that he does pretty much on House of Cards. If you've ever seen that, and it fits. It works so well as being the enemy, and it just. And the detail too. I mean, the videos were phenomenal for 2014.
In my humble opinion on it, of the futuristic games that I've played from Call of Duty, which would be Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, and Advanced Warfare, sort of Black Ops 2, but Advanced Warfare takes the cake by far.
That's what I'm talking about. And this is why we're best friends. He's just saying that to get on my good side after that comment earlier. But no. So as far as that, as stories go and stuff, I wish it weren't a single storyline just yet. I wish they would come out with Advanced Warfare 2 because again, the way they did the mechanics, it was very rough. It was gritty. It was still down in the dirt. It wasn't too technological, but just enough to give you an edge. Where it made this is one of the cool things too, is they reinvented certain maps as well. What was it? Was it Gorge?
I think they took a little inspiration from the Black Ops series maps and
Modern Warfare, yeah. And they made them
Treyarch.
They made them 3-dimensional, where you can get on top of buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they had verticality.
Yeah, that's the word they used. Yeah, verticality, where it essentially took you off of the flat plane, world
Something
that they had originally created.
That Halo Reach kind of pioneered in big time.
Yeah,
with the jetpack.
Yeah,
and Advanced Warfare followed suit just shortly thereafter.
Yeah, but I mean, with games like Modern Warfare, how exactly do you add that kind of aspect in there? I mean, you got jetpacks and freaking, Halo Reach. Mm-hmm. How do you implement that? And I think when they saw that is when they started it.
This whole thing is a sore topic because the Call of Duty community's split down the middle about the whole verticality or not, whether they like it or not, whether they like wall running or not, whether they like supers or not, that kind of thing. Personally, I don't mind verticality, boosting jumps or slides or anything like that. Not a big fan of the superpowers though, like the ultras. You get you press both the bumpers and you get, like in Destiny, like a golden gun. They basically had that in Black Ops 3. You got a big revolver that would kill people in one shot.
Call back to GoldenEye, huh?
It was... It works for Destiny, but I don't like it in Call of Duty. Because it's just on a cooldown, and at a certain point...
Wait, what game did you say this was?
Black Ops 3 and 4.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I was about to say, that wasn't in Advanced Warfare. But it wasn't in Advanced Warfare, which is what I liked about it. They completely changed the game on that. They made it where you didn't even have, a throwable tactical or anything like that. It was, you kind of did based on your set, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't play as anyone other than Ruin whenever I do. Mm-hmm. And whenever I do, I change the custom set out to where there's no cooldown time.
And you're talking about Black Ops 4 right now.
Yeah, 4. You know why? Because you got the stupid grappling hook. That thing, I'm like Batman and James Bond in, two runs, or Jack Bauer for anyone who's old enough to get that reference. But, I mean, it's awesome. You just, you're up there.
I always played as Recon.
Recon's good because he's the one with the dog, right?
No, Recon, that's Nomad, and he's good too.
Yeah.
Recon, I always played as him because just the sheer amount of information. You get more, I think your tactical was a little sensor dart you shoot places, and you can see pings on radar. And then his super ability, rather than something that's like instant kill or whatever, you activate thermal vision for you and all your teammates. Everybody can see it, and it comes in pulse waves.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see people through walls.
I play alone usually, so it doesn't help.
Even playing alone, just for my benefit alone, I could see people through walls and stuff. So.
But gravity slam
like
and a grappling hook. I mean,
yes,
because information doesn't do much if you can't shoot them.
You know what the problem I ran into with that was?
What's that?
Killing myself in the game by grappling off of stuff I'm not supposed to.
You have so much to live for. Why would you do such a thing? No, I understand what you mean.
And I could never quite get... I would always get like one kill with a slam.
The skate park is like the best one to do because it has like this window. Mm-hmm. And dude, I played online once, and I actually went through there, and I had a little shotgun that I used as my secondary. Mm-hmm. And boy, man, I popped him, and he didn't know what happened. I just went zoop, ba-doom, right behind him, and he had no idea what happened. So I mean, there's some give and take, but again, it's just like multiplayer in all the other Call of Duties we do. Is we always tweak the basics just a little bit.
Right.
You know, in this one, I had to take off. I think it's Zero, Seraph, and Firebreak, because if you put unlimited everything on those, they literally will not stop blinding you. They won't stop nuking you, and they won't stop blowing you up with explosive arrows. Mm. You know, so I had to take those operators off the map, it's not that big of a sacrifice.
You're talking about when you're playing bots.
Yeah, and you can actually choose how many of each one is on there. So if I have 8 bots, there are like 10 operators. Mm-hmm. I take like those 3 off. Then there's me, so I set like Ruin to 2 bots or 2 characters that can choose him, and then everyone else is 1.
Right.
That way, it adds some diversity to it, but at the same time, you don't have too many of that person, so you're not getting like 30 dogs on top of you, and things like that, or tripping over not sensor darts, but like the trip wires from that Nomad uses. Mm-hmm. You're not every doorway you walk into is just boom. Yeah.
You want to talk about like some of my all-time favorite, and it only happened a few hours ago, but one of my favorite abilities of all time in any game mode of Call of Duty is the chopper gunner in Zombies. There is no comparison
literally
to that.
Just hold on. And exactly how many games, how many Call of Duty games has that function?
0. Before Cold War.
I was about to say, it's like, there's at least one.
Yeah. I don't think that there's ever been like kill streak type stuff like that.
If so, Zombies. It hasn't been as easy for us to accomplish.
Maybe you could use the orbital laser in Zombies in Advanced Warfare.
But that was just so hard to stay alive in that, though.
Yeah, especially if you're solo, which chopper gunner would probably be hard to do solo in Zombies and Cold War too. But it worked great for me and you because you're like,
dude, I don't know if that was a thing.
I'm getting surrounded. Yeah. I'm like, I got something. Don't worry.
Yeah, right. But I think that's a bit of a callback.
Fortunate Son starts playing. Yeah. And the chopper comes around the corner.
Yeah, but I think that's a bit of a callback to one of our favorite missions.
Yeah.
In Modern Warfare 2. I can't remember what it's called, but you know how you could do the split screen. Chopper gunner and operator
Spec Ops mission, and I think it was called Overwatch or something like that. And somebody gets to be the
it's when you're going through like the fields of it looks like the fields of Indiana, but it's in Russia.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Where it's like you started the plane crash, and honestly, I don't ever remember thinking that I ever wanted to be the chopper gunner. I think my brother David made me do that a couple of times. Mm-hmm. Just because he wanted someone to watch his back, and he wanted to do all the cool stuff, which sounds about right. But that's how I am now. So
I liked playing from either angle. On the ground, I liked being the guy that would be like, hey, I need fire on this building, or, I got too many guys or a truck coming from this direction or whatever, and I'd still get plenty of kills myself. And then if you were playing as the Overwatch, I enjoyed just lighting people up with that thing, and then like telling whoever's on the ground, like, hey, 6 o'clock or whatever, like that. It's quite the sound. Yep. And it was sort of like the same feeling you get playing Warzone, but long before Warzone was thought of, where you had to kind of communicate and be really tactical, because especially if you were playing that on Hardened to try to get the most stars for that Spec Ops mission or whatever, or even Veteran, or beat the time limit, you had to be like right on top of things with your communication, because otherwise the guy on the ground's just going to get shot and die really quick, because it was swarms of dudes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though, on the zombies mode, it seemed like it was an automated thing. And it might just be because you were so accurate.
I was accurate. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really trying to slame you, kind of a little bit, but yeah, I mean, like literally, I just see like 100 zombies cornered up in this area, and they just start dropping like flies.
To your credit, you had them trained up in a massive horde. So when the chopper gunner, it does this little animation. It's like,
you ever seen a zombie conga line? Well, buddy, I had one there.
The door comes open, the gun flips down, and I'm just like, here it is. There's a whole group right laid out in front of me.
You're welcome.
Ripe for destruction.
I told you.
I didn't even have to move the stick. The gun was already pointed at them. I just pulled the trigger.
There you go.
It wasted all of them. I had to move left to right a little bit to mop up the stragglers.
Thank you for not hitting me. Because I feel like you could have.
I want to know what that looked like from the ground. Did they just disintegrate into piles of guts?
That's exactly what happened. Like, I just, like, they just start exploding. And I'm like, what is this rain coming down?
So awesome.
But I don't even know if friendly fire would have worked. Like, I could have just danced in front of your bullets and been fine.
I don't know if it does. In some zombie modes over the years, I seem to remember like friendly grenades or rockets might take each other out, but I might be wrong on that. I know you can.
What about 125 Mike bullets? That's what I want to know.
See, I don't know. You can take yourself out for sure, but I don't know if friendly fire's a thing or not. Especially from a chopper gunner you got out of a mystery box. Like, I don't know how much that.
I don't know if you know this, but 25 Mike. That's a significantly large round.
Yeah.
And it mopped up a lot of zombies. It did its job well.
Yeah.
So zombies is something like, I think this one, just the way that it plays is so much smoother than any of the other zombies. Like, the zombies aren't super overpowered. They're not super dumb. They're not super slow. They're not super fast. Okay, this isn't like
they start ramping up. Like they should about on time.
You can literally just swap to your fists and duke it out within the first 2 rounds, and that's that's fun because you usually get more points. I think it's 115 points versus like 90.
Yeah.
So that's enough to incentivize you to just have a little fun with them at first. Go dancing and Ted dancing. Anyway, but yeah, I mean what did I get one round? I had like 12,000 points at one point.
12 or 13.
Was it when you got the gunner? I had like 12 something thousand, I think.
That was probably our best game. We made what was it? 13 or 14 rounds.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But
still getting the hang of it.
But that wasn't the furthest we got though into the map. Because with zombies there's
how many, as the map
like
goes,
with zombies, anyone who's ever played it, there's always the story, which is usually really hard to follow because you're so focused on staying alive. Well, with this, it's a lot easier to manage.
It's more directed. They kind of tell you what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like
in the past, you had to just figure it out.
Yeah, like for instance, in Advanced Warfare. Yeah, I'm coming back to it. In Advanced Warfare, there's like this hidden box that you have to literally like look at just right, hold your jaw just right, and press the button just right to get it. Yeah. I always had trouble on a 360.
Me and my brother actually were able to complete they call it the Easter egg story or whatever, in each map except the last one for... it was the one where John Malkovich is the boss zombie or whatever.
Oh, not submarine. It was like the hero.
That's another thing that I just thought about, by the way, dude. The cast of zombies. There was John Malkovich, Bruce Campbell, John Bernthal.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell. Oh my goodness, that was
freaking
stacked. That was ridiculous. Yeah. But that was also before John Bernthal really got big. So he got really big.
I think he was only known for Walking Dead at the time, but not Punisher yet.
Yeah, no, Punisher came out, I think, was it
Punisher's only since 2017 or 18.
I want to say it's 18, because it was season 2 of
Season 2 was 2018, wasn't it?
No. Sorry, I'm in a Daredevil. Because Daredevil came out in 2015.
That's true. He was in season 2 of that.
Which was 16.
Yeah.
and then he got his own in 17, and then carried on in 18.
That's right.
For season 2.
Yeah.
Or they waited a year, and it was he was in season 2 of Daredevil. Was it 2016? Waited a year, then 18 and 19. Because I remember I remember watching season 2 when I was in California.
Yeah.
And that was 19. That was the end of 19. So, wish we need season 3, boys. Marvel, you listening? Come on.
Yeah.
Help us out here.
Yeah.
And, I mean, but Bernthal says that there's talks that, like, I don't really read too much. Here's a problem with me going on my Google, by the way. It knows me so well that literally I go to just search something, whether it be like, how do I do this? Or how old is, Betty White? It's just something random, right? Yeah. But it's like article after article after article. Like, it'll range from, like, Keanu Reeves says Matrix 4 will be like, or John Wick 4 will be like, stuff like that. And all the way to the point where it's like, I have a very vast interest ratio. Yeah. It'll be something super geeky like that, or 10 hacks to Warzone, all the way over to scientists say that dark matter is a natural occurrence in the galaxy, and it literally just gets sucked into a black hole, pun intended, of Google articles that they have selected for me. And then by the time that I'm 4 or 5 articles in, I forgot what I was looking up. And it aggravates me, because if I'm not looking up something like that, it's usually the Batman movie coming out. I'm just like, okay, what Easter egg thing can I figure out here? Can I figure out more of the story? Are they going to delay it again? Are we going to be at like 2030 before we get the new Batman movie? Yeah. So that's a cry. I don't know if you have that. Do you have that problem, or are you more focused? I feel like you're more focused.
I'm pretty focused.
But yeah. So, but the as far as the campaign goes for Cold War, I will say I really enjoyed it. And see, here's the thing. Like, I try and play as the good guy, because there are a couple of different endings to this thing. And I heard about that whenever I started to hop on to play. So, in like the first mission, you have the choice to either take the guy in or throw him off a roof. And I'm like, oof, what would Alex do? I think I'm going to take him in, And so I do the good guy things. I'm not a bit of a jerk or anything. And so I do that, and I was like, all right, this might affect it, because in Black Ops 2, there were 4 key points where the decisions you made, directly influenced the outcome.
Yeah.
And then there were little things where you could like save Harper's face and get a cool little quip out of Salazar and Colossus and stuff, which is hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
But there wasn't the decisions in Cold War weren't exactly like as they weren't as influential. It's really just one decision that branches off to another 2 that can split off as well. So it's like there's you have to commit, really.
Yeah.
There's one really bad ending, and then there's like a kind of bad ending, and then there's like a good ending, which still confuses the heck out of you, because it ends with a gun in your face. And you're like, what the?
I think Black Ops likes to do the thing where it's like there's no storybook ending. It's more of a
gotcha.
Even the best ending is still pretty dark and real world kind of when you think about it.
Well,
I'm trying not to give too much away, but
I will say the way that this one ended, the good ending at least. Now, look, there's a really, really bad ending, and yes, I YouTubed it. Sorry. But the really, really, I don't think I could morally actually go with a really, really bad ending, because you do some really evil stuff. But the really bad ending completely sets it up for a whole new storyline. I mean, like, you're like, holy macaroni. Where are they going with this?
Here's the thing, though. 9 times out of 10, when a game has like a quote-unquote good and a quote-unquote bad ending, you can pick the bad ending all you want, but the good ending is usually like the accepted canon for the next game. So like perfect example of that, Knights of the Old Republic, that's a big throwback. So anybody under the age of probably 25 2 is not gonna catch that one. Maybe.
Dude, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, and I'm older than you.
Come on, man.
What do you mean? Come on.
Okay, what's another good example then? I don't know. It's like every game that has choices like that. Knights of the Old Republic is probably the best example in my opinion.
Technically, Far Cry 4, there was one really big choice.
See, I didn't play that.
But I wasn't patient enough to do it because you have to wait like 30 minutes for the dude to get back. You know?
Far Cry 5 is a good example.
Right.
The accepted ending for that is what New Dawn basically bases off.
Yeah. Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
That's true. But isn't that consequential on the order of which you take out the siblings, though?
I think so.
Well, see, I always started with, was it John? No. Or
you're supposed to start with...
The one with the vest. What's his name? I can't remember his name.
Jacob?
Yeah, Jacob.
Jacob's supposed to be the last. He's the hardest.
Jacob is the army dude. The guy in Falls Creek.
I think that's John.
Yeah, so it is John. Then, oh, yeah, Joseph is the...
He's the big guy.
the big guy. Okay. They're so close. It's John, Jacob, Joseph. Who came up with these names? What is it? Drake and Josh Ryder do this? Like, what? No, started with him, and it's like essentially a dogfight, right? Like, you know, and if you haven't finished Far Cry 5 by now,
what are you doing?
Shame on you, okay?
Yeah.
But spoiler alert, all right? So you start out with him, and you just, damage his area enough to where you're taking control back, and it ends up in a dogfight. And it's actually kind of dope. It was really difficult. I don't know if you had any issues with it, but it was hard for me.
I got it on like the third try. It was a little difficult to manage the plane flying mechanics and shoot and not get blown out of the sky.
And in all honesty, I mean, whenever I fly around, I usually take a helicopter. Just because it's a little easier. You get more mobility, more visibility, things like that.
Aiming the guns is easier.
Could also be because I also was playing like Wildlands at the same time.
That could confuse you.
And let me just tell you, it did, buddy.
Yeah.
They're both Ubisoft games,
and
but
very similar as far as territory control and stealth and all that.
Yeah, so that's where that kind of, conflicted, but yeah, so I wasn't really used to plane because I haven't done a plane simulator in I don't know how many years. But the what I will say is after that one, I think my favorite one to do is Jacob.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what order. I think I did the sister next. Was it Faith? I think I did her next. I can't remember because she had all of the bliss over there.
What I did was a little unusual. I sort of worked each territory right up until a certain point, and then I went back and actually finished it off in the order you're supposed to, just like 1, 2, 3. It was just like John, Faith, Jacob, and then
I went full bore. Again, I have way less concentration than you do, unless you're talking about the frozen orange juice.
Well, actually, I think it takes less concentration to do it the way I did because I would get bored staying in one region. So I would just drive around and fly and do different stuff. Like somewhere roughly halfway through.
Well, I mean, sorry,
I just blew
you're
up
right. That was a poor choice of words. I mean, I don't have the tenacity to plan. It seems like you would have planned that. Because you kind of have to know at what point you're going to be hunted. Because at the point you're hunted,
that's true.
You can't go back. You literally have to do the boss fight.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if you knew that at the time you were playing.
I did. Not the first time. The first time I was like, what is happening? After that, though.
How you like them bliss bullets, though, huh?
Yeah. Dude, I was flying a plane when it happened.
Oh, yeah. That happened to me, too, yeah. And I was like, they can't get me. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, I was flying a plane. I see a guy low on a ridge, right? It says, you are being hunted. I take the plane into like a low bank. I'm approaching the ridgeline. I light it up. Take him out. Swoop up. Do the same thing, turn around, make like a figure 8 pattern. I'm approaching the same ridgeline. Guy crawls up on the ridgeline, posts up. I'm like, what is he doing? What does he think he's going to snipe me? I'm in an airplane. I'm untouchable. And I'm
the main protagonist. I can't be killed.
It's like and then my screen just starts going black. I'm like, no.
You're like, what just happened? I didn't drink any of the alcohol. What happened?
Did he just dart me through a ballistic blast cockpit?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, and by the way, you can actually, I don't know what it does for you, though, but you can actually get some mead and some wheat and whiskey it up. I don't know what benefits.
It increases damage resistance, but your screen is blurry.
Oh yeah, and it goes away in like a minute.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? I just downed 10 bottles of this, and you tell me it's gone in
I would die of
in
alcohol
a minute?
poisoning, not have increased bullet resistance.
Right, exactly. Right. You would have increased bullet resistance for maybe 5 minutes in real life before you pass out. But no. So where were we on this?
You want to go back to Cold War, or you want to go back
to Cold War?
Yeah.
The multiple endings.
Mm-hmm.
There's not really a lot of games. I mean, Black Ops 3 didn't have a multiple ending, and 4 didn't have a campaign. So
4's campaign, quote unquote, was the training missions, and I couldn't suffer myself to get through those. I liked the one with Woods. That was it, though. He's
in all of them.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
I assumed
he's hilarious.
I assumed each one was different, so I only played like one.
No.
You know how like Battlefield? Did you ever play Battlefield 1?
A little bit, yeah.
Did you play the quote unquote campaign that they had?
Well, yeah, I like the Aussie dude.
It was basically just training for multiplayer, and there was like a tank division. There was one where you play as an American pilot. There's one you play as a
infantryman.
Black Ops 4 was sort of like that along those lines. So I figured each one would be totally different and have totally different characters. I just kind of assumed.
I'm not gonna lie, the Battlefield 1 really was awesome in the way that, because that was World War I, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I really liked the opening scene or whatever. That's from one of my favorite documented battles ever.
Mm-hmm.
Battle of Bella Wood with the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
Whoo! Talk about history and talk about BNBA. Those guys. And I think in the video the guy had a sword.
Yeah.
Which that actually is something you can carry on yourself. It'd be interesting to see you go in the Middle East with a sword like that. But I mean, I'd be down. And the guy has a cape too, which, when we're all the crap bags, we're all like, yeah, you can get like an NCO cape, right? We're like, yeah, but none of us are NCOs. And then when you get to be an NCO, you're too worried about what people think to even do something like that.
Yeah.
When you actually can wear it,
Yeah.
Boy, would I go back. Oh, I'd get the sword, I'd get the cape, and I'd be walking down with pomp and circumstance, man. I tell you. That'd be cool.
I don't know, man. You might get Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, jeez. No, but what? You can't shoot in a ball? Dude, they probably wouldn't let me take the sword into the ball. They'd be like, look, okay, no, you're not doing that. You're not going to make buffoons out of everyone in this battalion.
Yeah.
Put that away. And then you know what I do? I pull out the order and I'm like, excuse me, Sergeant Major, I have the right to do this. Says here in Papa 1020.34, probably Juliet at this point. For any of you who don't know, they go by like different variations and modifications to Marine Corps orders. So Marine Corps order, whenever I first went in, was Papa 1020.34 hotel. And then a year after, they switched to hold on. What's after? I don't even know what the alphabet is now.
H-I-J-K.
No.
So after hotel.
No, it was golf, and then it was hotel.
Okay.
It was golf, then hotel. I was like, no, it doesn't go to golf. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, I haven't had my crowns today, so that's why I can't remember. But yeah, so it's Papa 1020.34 hotel is what it is now. And that's stuff they drill you on in boot camp. So whenever you get drilled into your brain in boot camp, then they change it on you. Mm-hmm. You're like, Papa 1020.34 golf. Nah, hotel. Do it again. Or walk up and down this hallway 20 times or, something stupid like that. Or they'd sit there and talk to you for like in guard duty, they love to do this over in my unit in Okinawa. They loved to mess with you, specifically my battalion. I don't know why. Everyone was so motivated. They were always like, hey, you're in boot camp again. And they come up, and it's because they're super bored. They just want to mess with people. Mm-hmm. And it's super annoying. You're like, dude, let me just lazily walk down this hallway, stay awake, drink a ton of Monster, and get ready to PT the next day. Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
But no. And I didn't know this until like I actually had promoted to NCO, but whenever the regimental duty officer, or RDO for future reference, whenever the RDO would step on deck, we had radios and stuff, and the duty officer downstairs, they would do like a double click, because whenever you release off of it, it does like a little beep beep. They would do a double click to let you know RDO was on deck. Mm-hmm. Well, my stupid butt didn't know that. And I was like, what is wrong with my radio? Oh, and then like have to salute real quick, I had no idea. But that's me. I just don't pay attention. But yeah, I mean, and they drill you on all these different orders and whatnot. And so that's how you start to get to know the Marine Corps order so well, and the loopholes, like on facial hair, we actually have a shot. There is a Marine Corps mixed drink that you can actually make, like written in law. Yeah, for real. And in ball season, it's all over the place. They come up with a mixture and everything. I got to make it. I think it has cranberries, the only thing. I'm not a huge cranberry fan.
Yeah.
But, I got to try it at some point. I can't go the rest of my life without trying it.
Yeah.
Like at some point, I'm going to get the rest of my uniforms and get the cape and get the sword. And boy, you bet I'm going to be walking around with that thing, like for me, it's stopped by every veteran ever. Yeah. But I'm like, look, I wear that for my wedding day. My wife would kill me.
You're going to have to marry a saint.
Yeah, she'd have to be down. But I mean, honestly, that's my personality. So if we're getting married, she'd be like,
yeah, because
that's the only time other than, well, really my funeral that I could wear the blues in that, because the cape is only with a specific, uniform. Mm. So, and that variant you can't wear unless it's your wedding or your funeral or like Marine Corps events or whatever.
Yeah.
But it'd be worth it. I'm just saying. Ideally, I would only get married once. So.
Yeah. Right.
So, but yeah, even I wasn't actually really even supposed to wear my blues to my brother's wedding, but I wore the variation that was allowed, because it's the medals is what makes the difference. You can't wear like, the medals. You don't have the ribbons and stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's one thing about Battlefield 1 I really liked, is that he had the cape and he had the sword. He was looking super awesome when he was going through the forest, killing a bunch of bad guys. And that honestly was like, all right, that's it. I'm going to get the game, And, I don't have that Xbox. I got the Xbox game
Battlefield
bundle.
1 edition.
Yeah, it was the Xbox One S. Green, and the controller was green. Is actually really cool.
I had a controller like that for a while because my brother got the same one. He didn't like the controller, so I traded him.
Why not?
I don't know. Something about the grips on it he didn't like. I liked the extra.
It was actually pretty cool.
And I liked the OD green look. So.
The newer those that was like the newer controllers that have like the Bluetooth and whatnot. Yeah. It also had the headphone jack. Mm-hmm. And I really liked that because
I loved it.
Then I could actually like put in just like some standard headphones, or whatever, and actually like play along and stuff instead of having to buy like $60 headset. And that's being cheap too. So yeah, it was for the budget. The budget gamer. Just get like $5 pair of headphones from the Walmart checkout line and just plug and play. And that's not even a phrase anymore. People say plug and play.
Yeah, because you don't plug anything.
Yeah.
You just play.
DL and play, download and play. Speaking of which, I'm actually really upset. And I know you mention this as much as you can to get it in. I am sick and tired of this stupid game like delaying its release date. And if anybody knows Cyberpunk 2077, you know my pain, okay? I've had that stupid thing taken up, I don't know how many gigs on my Xbox, the pre-order, and it should have been out by now. It should have. But no, they got to push it back. And I believe that they said the reason is because they were worried about the shipment of the disc copies. Listen, why make the rest of us suffer, okay? I already have bought it
Just
online.
do 2 releases. Do a downloadable release and a disc
and
release.
then like to make up for it, just get like a really cool case or a DLC code that you can only get
and
from
maybe just discount the disc release a little bit.
Yeah, or something like that.
So
that way
if
it's more
some people
enticing.
still want to wait for the disc, they'll just do like
Exactly.
the 10% or something. I don't know. There seems like there could be a way around that, especially as prevalent as digital gaming is now.
Yeah, but
And
I mean,
that's weird for me to say because I played with a disc. The last game I bought on disc was Modern Warfare 2019. So
that came out on disc.
Yep.
Okay, all right, boomer.
You want to talk about delayed games? Halo Infinite.
Oh, come on. They delayed it a year.
Biggest disappointment. Well, they haven't said when it's. They said 2021 sometime. A lot of people are thinking
Well,
spring.
they originally said holiday 2020, so everyone was thinking Christmas.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, and then I think they took the opportunity to refine it a little bit. And because they also, again, remember, first-gen releases of new consoles never bode well. If you don't believe me, ask anyone who's having disk loading problems with the Xbox Series X.
Series X is catching on fire some places.
And
See these videos of them smoking. I saw a real one. Not the vape one. Not the vape one.
I was about to say, there's a lot of people
This is one
the whole
they
thing.
turned it on, and it's just like it's actual smoke coming straight out of the vents. It's not good. Not a good look.
I don't know.
Unless they
It's a trap. It's a trap.
If they edited like really well, maybe
they actually just have a PS5, or they didn't get a new console, and they just wanted to really crap talk them and like completely not debunk. What is it? Completely tank their sales. I mean, because there's people who are spiteful enough to do that.
That is possible.
Who have no life, that play Call of Duty 24/7 anyway.
Yep.
I mean, like, but I don't even know some of the PS5 issues. I think they have something similar to the Red Ring of Death for 360.
I don't know. All I've heard people complaining about for PS5 is that with Black Ops Cold War, when it first came out for the last week or so, they might have just fixed it, but it was running the PS4 version of the game on PS5. Like people were taking Cold War, loading it up, playing it, and then they were playing last gen version.
Let me tell you, new gen versions on last gen consoles ain't what's up. That's the only thing that I had an issue with. Is I think I downloaded the Xbox Series X version of the game, and I've been playing it on Xbox One. Mm-hmm. And not even the S, because I gave the Xbox One S to my brother because he played more online and stuff. Because again, my Wi-Fi sucks, so I gave that to him, and he talked me into it. I don't know why I let him talk me into it, but so I'm running like a what a second gen Xbox One,
first or second, yeah.
And I'm actually impressed with this thing. It's held up pretty well. Because I can even go
for it to not be melting playing Cold War is an accomplishment.
Well, I do have that external fan. That is one thing. I have an external fan that I plug in, but I'm also I'm too cheap to buy even a newer Xbox One S or anything like that. So yeah, actually that's something my brother got, and he's just like, here you go in the trade and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm actually quite surprised. But I didn't even have that big of an issue like whenever I was playing Advanced Warfare for the 360. Mm-hmm. I mean, because that was a split console thing as well, where it came out where it was released for the Xbox One and 360, and that whole like year transition thing.
Yeah.
What year did games start going exclusively Xbox One? Was it 2017?
The last game that
or 16.
The last Call of Duty that I remember coming out on both systems might have been Black Ops 3. Because you can still find, like...
I want to say... I could have sworn Infinite Warfare came out.
Infinite was not on 360.
It wasn't?
Nope. I can almost guarantee that.
Okay. Because I do remember that it wasn't until Black Ops 3 that I got the Xbox One. That was like 2 years after its release. I want to say I got it that June or whatever. And if it's not this console, it's a different... No, I don't know if it was this console that I have now.
Let's see. Yeah, Black Ops 3 was released on the same platforms as Advanced Warfare, although it would be the last Call of Duty game released on 7th generation PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 consoles.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I remember that because I believe there's something that came out called a version of Black Ops 3 that came with all the zombies stuff. It was called Black Ops 3 Resurrection or something. It starts with an R. And it's only on the one version of the game.
Oh, okay.
And I think you actually had to... One version of Black Ops 3, I can't remember, it was the 360 or the one version. Probably the 360 version. It came with just multiplayer and campaign, maybe? I might be getting that mixed up. Okay. There was something the 360 version was missing because they couldn't even run it on the 360.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
all right. Well, so I'm going to take this time to segue into something that we like to call escape method of the week. All right. So Joe knows what I'm talking about because it actually was something that he opened my eyes to. I didn't even think about. All right. So, one of the things that we like to do is we're very involved when it comes to like tactical stuff and things like that. So we look for just kind of ingenious ways that are both budget and training less needed. And one of the things that me and him were talking about the other day was the patch key trick. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you want to elaborate kind of more.
You want me to take it away on this one?
Yeah, you got it, since you're the one who got it firsthand knowledge. So.
Okay. So I heard from a friend that one of the best ways to hide a key on your person, whether you want to pick up a handcuff key from somewhere like a universal or a house key, you're trying to hide a key to a safe, whatever it might be, or something else that could be small and around that same size, is you take one of those hats that's pretty common, like a 511 or something like that has the patch on the front.
You can get one from a gas station. I mean, that's the one I have now. Is I got it from a Chevron at the corner of a street.
What did you say the size of the patch was? Like 3x2, something like that?
It's a standard flag patch size. So I think it's like 2x4 or 1.5x3.
Okay.
It's it's rectangular. Mm-hmm. Is the best because it's very standard. But again, the key that I tested it with was also like about the same size as a house key.
So you can probably see where we're going with this. You take the hat, you put the key in the center of the Velcro patch, and you put just the patch of your choice that works, that fits over it, and there you go. Voila. Nobody's going to look for that.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you, I never thought about that before.
Yeah.
So whenever I tested it out, actually, and again, this blew my freaking mind. Like, I literally was just like a kid in a candy shop. I was like, how has no one ever done this before?
Yeah.
Like no one's ever talked about it. No one's ever seen it in a show. Mm-hmm. No one's ever put it in a movie, which we'll get to that. That will be in the book that we're developing. But yeah, I was like so awestruck, and I didn't believe him. But then I got my patch hat. I got my patch, and I tested it out. I tested it out for the lock that I have on my gun. And I was like, all right, if there's anything I want to protect, it's this gun because I don't have anything else that's worth this much. And so I locked everything up. And what I did was I actually put the bottom border of the patch on first and kind of had it like half peeled off. Mm-hmm. Set the key in first and then kind of rolled it over it.
Right. That makes sense.
And boy, let me tell you, there's no bump. There's no like crease. There's nothing that indicates that it would be there. Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to tell anybody how to get out of a cop car, but I'm just saying, if you're wanting to like hide a key away from somebody, that's a great place to hide it. It's actually pretty ingenious. So, and watch, we're just gonna have a bunch of like random people, searching key like patches of hats, taking off random people. Like, what key you got here? Like,
patch hat stocks go up 700% after this podcast.
You didn't hear from us. But yeah, so that's I thought that was again the craziest thing I ever heard of, and maybe next week we might share another for you. So
I've got a couple lined up.
Yeah, a couple. All right. But yeah, be sure to tune in, and we'll see if we can get these podcasts out to you. A couple of weeks, maybe a week. We'll see what's going on, and we'll keep this training going. So thanks for tuning in, and for Gregarious Guys Conversation.